What's up guys? This episode we're going to be diving into adding an affiliate or referral program to your Rails application. So we're going to be using a tool called Rewardful for this, and it's going to give you links like so, where you can have a via and some ID in the URL, and Rewardful is going to track that ID, and when the customer signs up with Stripe, you will include that ID into their Stripe customer or their Stripe subscription, and then Rewardful is going to be able to keep track of that and figure out what customers have signed up and which ones have actually paid you, and then you can pay out their commissions after 30 days. So this is one of the easiest ways to do that, and it works with Stripe really well. So that's what we're going to dive into today, because a lot of you guys have asked about how do I add an affiliate program to my Rails apps, and this is definitely the way to do that. So first you're going to need to sign up for an account, then you're going to need to connect your Stripe account, and then we're going to need to create a campaign and integrate a couple lines of code into our Stripe implementation. So once you've connected your Stripe account and created your campaign, then you're going to need to implement the code for Rewardful, which is really straightforward. So number one, we need to add a little script tag to the bottom of the page right before the closing tag of the body. So we'll copy that, and then we'll go to our application and just paste that into our application layout, and that is what we'll need to have right there. You can put this if you have other layouts. Maybe you have a special layout for your checkout pages, you can put that on that one. It really only needs to be on the page that your checkout is added. So the important part here is that it's going to use this code to add the Rewardful stuff into your Stripe form, so that when you send it over, you can add it to your customer. So we'll save this, and then we need to open up our Stripe form. So what I've done is gone through the Stripe episodes more or less like I have in the past. So we've got a subscription new.html ERB, and this is the Stripe elements form, and what we need to do here is we want to add a data attribute here called Rewardful. And to set this up so it matches the example from Rewardful, we're going to use an empty string here, which will look weird, but it's actually going to add the data Rewardful attribute without a value in our form. So if we go to our form, we can inspect it. Let's refresh the page. Inspect it and go up to the form, and you'll see data Rewardful, but it's not equal to anything because it's an empty string. And so that will match the data Rewardful attribute that they show here in the example. So empty string is something you can use there. You could also just set it to true, and that should work just fine. But empty string will be what you want. It will just be, don't be tempted to delete that even though it's empty. So you still need that. So from there, then we need to handle things server side. Now what this is going to do is the data Rewardful JavaScript will look for this on the page, and then it will add the referral parameter into that form so that it is sent over to the server side. So just like how Stripe works, where when you submit, it takes all the credit card information, it sends it to their servers, gives you a token back, and then inserts the token as a hidden field. It's going to do the same thing, except it's going to work with the referral parameter instead. Now you won't be able to follow along with this step exactly until you have some affiliates set up, but I want to show you how this works. So basically, when we go to any URL that is linked on this site, before we set up our Stripe customer, if you put a via in the affiliate's name or ID in the URL, when they come to your form with the data Rewardful stuff going on, this is actually going to insert a hidden field into your form. So as long as it's marked as data Rewardful, it's going to add that referral field as a hidden value. So then you'll submit this over to Stripe, and then Rewardful will look for that later on. So as you're fiddling with this at the beginning, you won't have a referral ID because you won't have any affiliates yet. So you won't have a great way to test that, but you want to just make sure that if you pass over referral as a parameter, that you send that over to your Stripe customer. And so that's how that's going to work. So then from here, you can create or update your Stripe customer. If you already have a Stripe customer and you want to update them, go ahead and do that. But normally you're going to do this because they were signing up for the first time, and you want to add that referral parameter in there. So just like normal, we'll go to our subscriptions controller, and in the create action where we want to create the customer, we'll assign that to a variable. And instead of params email, we already know that from current user.email because they've signed up separately ahead of time with devise. And we want to just make sure that now we set that metadata referral, and that will be that. So that's all you really have to do then, and you can say customer .subscriptions.create or whatever you need to do down here, create a charge, create a subscription, whatever you might want to do. So as you can see here, the referral metadata on your customer is actually what Rewardful is going to look at whenever a new charge comes through, a new subscription, that sort of thing. Whenever someone pays, it's going to check the customer, see if they were a referral, and find the affiliate associated to them and give them credit for that. And then they get whatever percentage, and then after 30 days, it's going to let you know that you can pay that person because it gives you 30 days so that you have time to give refunds out. And you'll be able to see all of that in the Rewardful dashboard, which is awesome. It tells you, the unpaid commissions that are due, your paid commissions, total commissions, all this, and it's really cool and gives you the ability to see who is doing the most referrals and all of that good stuff. So that's really all there is to it. There's really nothing that you have to do that's significant to change your application. You've already set up Stripe elements and subscriptions or charges on the back end. So all you need to do is pass in an extra item into your form and then save it onto your Stripe customer and you're done, which is awesome. So we will talk about this sort of from scratch in a future episode because I want to show you guys how to build something similar to this but inside your own application. So if you're building something like Dropbox where they want to give credit with different size storage or something like that but not actually pay money, we can go and build something very similar. We'll use cookies to keep track of who referred and all of that, and we'll use similar style of URLs to keep track of the affiliates because that via parameter is what Rewardful uses, and we can take that and kind of do the same thing but custom in our own app. But as you might expect, there's a lot of work to do that if you want to do it with Stripe or payments. So it's nice to be able to use a service like this rather than having to build it from scratch, which is why I put it off for so long. So thanks to them for building this, and talk to you guys in the next episode.